Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Blue Bridge. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking new signings. I'm going to be talking new goalkeeper in PETROVIC, and I'm also going to be talking about our pursuit of Brennan Johnson. So as Sunday's game showed us, although we've spent a lot of money, we're still light in certain areas. And one of the areas that we can improve on, I think, is the goalkeeping situation. I defended Sanchez the other day because I thought a lot of people were unfair with that shot that Antonio had against him. But because I defended, I'm not saying he's a real deal. I still think we can do better in that department. If we want to be challenging for honours, we need a top tier goalkeeper. So, and is he it? I don't think he's it. And I think he was bought to be the number 2. And obviously with the Kepa situation, he just thrusted into the number 1 goalkeeping situation. So, with that being said, we've signed in a new goalkeeper with PETROVIC about to sign for us from the New England Revolutions in the States. And he's due to have his medical this week ahead of a £14 million transfer. So what can we get from this goalkeeper? If we look at his stats from whoscored.com, his strengths: shot stopping, reflexes, penalty saving. I watched a YouTube video earlier today and he saved, I think, 4 or 5 penalties in that short YouTube clip, 8-minute video. So he's saving from close range. I love the way that he makes himself big for all the shots coming in. He does spreads himself, and his decision making is quite good. He doesn't commit himself too early. And they're all quality goalkeepers. That's what they do. They make themselves as big as possible. They don't dive too early, and they try and let the attacker make the first move before they react. And is saving long shots, and it's such a joy to see a goalkeeper who can save a shot from distance. And I've seen shots taken from 30 yards which are going into the top corner, unsavable ones usually for certain goalkeepers that we've had in the past, but he's tipped them over the bar. Again, playing in the Premier League, a shot's a shot, but with the pressure of the Premier League, let's see if he can carry on that form of saving these long shots, because I long for a goalkeeper who knows how to save the long shots. And his concentration, and which is good, because at a team like Chelsea, where usually teams don't create a lot of chances against us, the goalkeeper needs to be concentrated at all times, so when the shots do come in, he's ready to be able to save them. And his only weakness, they said, is the long passing. I saw some of his distribution in some other clips I saw. It wasn't too bad, but obviously I haven't seen this guy week in, week out. So I'm hoping that that can be improved upon if it is a weakness. But his short game is good. He's comfortable on the ball as well. So he's like these new modern day goalkeepers who's good with his feet and good in the air. And good shot stopper, sorry. And his claiming of corners is very good. He's 6'4", so he's good presence as well. And he holds onto the ball a lot of the times. The ball sticks to his hands, especially with the long shots. So the bits I've seen of him are good, and some of the New England Revolution supporters who've watched him week in, week out have said that he's a good goalkeeper. So I don't know, as I said, I'm just relying on what I've seen with the clips of the saves that I've seen, but everything I've seen so far looked quite good. I like to see a full game of his to assess his what he's like over 90 minutes, and I like to see some of the errors in his game as well, some videos with some errors in the game, just so you can analyse him fully, because I'm not really one who's just going to get excited over 8-minute YouTube clips where anyone can look good. But from the things I've seen, if this is something to go by, then yes. But like with all signings, I always say a bit of caution, because it's only when they get to the club and start performing that you can fully have a judgment of of what they're like. So What do you guys think about Petrovic? Any Americans supporters here who've seen this guy play week in, week out? What is your assessment of him? Do you think it's a good move for Chelsea? Serbian, by the way. He's had 2 international caps for Serbia as well. And so 23 years old, so still quite young. If he's going to push Robert Sanchez for the #1 spot, if he proves to be the better player, then he'll be in the team. Simple as that. Okay, so moving on now to the next story. So we are looking at Brennan Johnson. A lot of our snobbery fans don't want this guy, mainly because he's playing for a team like Nottingham Forest and he's English, I think. And that's why a lot of people don't rate this guy. A lot of people probably haven't even seen a lot of Nottingham Forest's games. They probably have watched highlights of their games or just watched 2 or 3 games when they've been on TV. Because let's face it, if Chelsea are playing, you're not going to be watching the Chelsea game and the Forest game because it's a 3 o'clock game. They've appeared on TV probably about 10, 11 times over the course of the season. And if you've watched all those games, are you going to be able to assess him on those games that you've watched him? Of course not. But it's just the thing to say, oh, he's rubbish because of his passport, and I said, and the club he plays for. That's what people assess these players on. And it's not great. What I've done something different. I know a good friend of mine who is a season ticket holder at Nottingham Forest, and I asked him for his assessment of this guy, a supporter who's watched this guy play week in, week out, and this is his assessment. He said he's got blistering pace. We've seen that already. He's lightning quick. He scored double digits last season. I saw a tweet today saying, oh, he's only scored 10 goals in 44 games. Only scored 10 goals in 44 games. That's more than all our players all last season, including all our attackers. Havertz scored, 9 goals, is it, or 10? Nobody else got double digits. So if we can get a wide guy who can score goals, then what's the issue? We need wide men who know how to find the back of the net. Anyway, carrying on from what he said, he said that he's more of an instinctive finisher. If he has to think about it, then he kind of fluffs his lines if he has to think about it. But when it's instinct, when the ball comes out instinctively, that's when he'll score goals. And he scores all types of goals. He scores, he's not afraid to shoot from the edge of the box neither. So he'll score long range shots inside the box. And I asked him also about his creativity, and he said that's one aspect of his game that needs to be improved on, his decision making, because he says at times he feels that he should have played it earlier, or he could have done sorry, it's a frog in my throat, or he could have done better with that pass. But again, he's still young, and what he did say to me is that he's an ideal player for Pochettino because he's mouldable. He's got the raw materials. If he can get a good manager who can move him up that other level, then he's got a player there. And all the Forest supporters will be sad to see him go. And that's something good. That if there's a player and the Forest players don't want him to go because he gives them something, then yeah, he's as I said, double digits last season in the promotion running season. I think he scored about 14 or 15. So he knows where the back of the net is. And he's somebody who wasn't expecting to go. He'd bought a house in Nottingham recently. So this sort of interest has sort of come out of the blue. So we'll wait and see what happens. And is it Lawrence who wants him? And that's the thing. Some of our fans think they know more than the directors and the scouts, because there's obviously something that they see in this guy that they like, and so that's why they want to bring him in. So I don't know. This is I'm not going to comment, because sometimes we get big money signings that don't work out, and sometimes it's these smaller signings, or I say smaller signings because he's not going to come cheap. So there's sometimes signings like this that you least expect. You are the ones who are successful. I wouldn't want to be paying 50 million, because that's the price we're looking at. There's talk about the club trying to use Callum Hudson-Odoi and maybe a loan move for Santos to bring the price down. If we can get him in the region of 30 million, then why not? And apparently Forest need the money because of financial fair play, so that's why they're willing to do a deal and get rid of their better players. And the final story today is regarding Balogun, who currently plays for Arsenal, and Chelsea have been linked with this player. And again, a lot of our fan base don't want it on the basis of, oh, if he's not good enough for Arsenal, why do we want him at Chelsea? Football doesn't work like that, guys. Come on. I wouldn't be spending 50 million on him though. I think it's a bit steep. Chelsea are having conversations trying to bring the price down for him, so we'll have to see how that goes. But he played for Rennes last season, where he scored 21 goals in 37 games, and I think he finished second in that league, just behind Kylian Mbappe. So to score 21 goals in your first full season at a club, that's no mean feat. So obviously he knows where the back of the net is, and all these supporters say no because he's he hasn't done well at Arsenal, so why should we get him at Chelsea? I just want to put two names, just two guys are the opposite actually, who are at Arsenal now, who were at Chelsea. One is Declan Rice, who Chelsea let go as a kid. So most fans would be saying, oh, we let him go, what we do in getting him, but look how his career turned out. And Nketiah was on Chelsea's books for a while. We released him, I think Arsenal took him, and Nketiah is scoring more goals than a lot of our strike force score at the moment. So sometimes it doesn't matter how many stories, there's so many stories that you hear of a guy who's at one club as a young player, didn't make it, he went somewhere else and he scored bags of goals. Harry Kane's another one who didn't really, who's had loan spells at Millwall, Leicester and other clubs. He didn't really score, it wasn't prolific there. Then he had one standout season at Tottenham. He had the right manager, Poch. And then, it's not Poch. First of all, it was Tim Sherwood who brought him in. Then Poch was the one who elevated his career. So sometimes it's just the right environment, the right manager, who can elevate your career. So us as fans, we always have that tendency to just have a look at how someone's performing now. We don't look at potential, we don't look at what he can become under a different manager. So again, if we do get him in, it's a case of me saying, let's wait and see. I'm not writing off a player before he's even kicked a ball for Chelsea. I'm not like that. I just want to see if they perform, and then I'll make my decisions and assessments based on that. So guys, what do you think of the stories today? What do you think of the Petrovic? Good signing or not? Who would you have got in for a reasonable price in his place? And also the story about Brennan Johnson. Would you take Brennan Johnson? If not, who would you take in his place? I know there's going to be a lot of criticism there. And the Balogun story. Happy, or is there better out there? And if you put your scouting out on who's the player who's better out there, stick your comments in the section below. And as always, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to be notified every time I make a new video. So take care for now. Bye bye.